Did you know that salt was once worth its weight in gold? Today, we're diving into the fascinating story of salt, a simple word that carries a rich and surprising history. From ancient trade routes to modern language, salt has been essential to life and culture for thousands of years. Join us as we explore the incredible journey of salt, its role in shaping civilizations, its profound cultural significance, and the many ways it's embedded in our language and traditions. This is more than a story about a mineral. It's a story about survival, innovation, and the connections that bind us all. The word salt originates from the Latin term sal, a word that carried immense value in ancient times, as salt was considered as precious as gold. Salt wasn't merely a seasoning, but a lifeline, pivotal for preserving food in an era without refrigeration and vital for sustaining armies, travelers, and entire civilizations. This immense importance gave the word its cultural weight, which is reflected in its linguistic evolution, from sal in Latin to silt in Old English, and eventually into the modern English word salt. Over centuries, as human societies advanced, salt retained its status as an irreplaceable resource, symbolizing not just a substance essential for life but also a cornerstone of economies, trade networks, and traditions. This profound legacy makes salt a word deeply embedded in the collective history of humanity. But salt wasn't just a word, it was a symbol of life itself. It played an indispensable role in preserving food, especially in times before refrigeration, allowing perishable items to last through long winters, arduous travels, and across vast distances. It seasoned meals, transforming bland and basic sustenance into something flavorful and enjoyable, becoming a cornerstone of culinary traditions worldwide. Beyond its use in the kitchen, salt was so valuable that it often served as a form of currency. In ancient civilizations, it was traded like gold, used to pay workers, and even became a strategic resource fought over in wars. Salt's economic and cultural weight was so immense that it left its mark on the development of language, rituals, and social systems, standing as a testament to humanity's resourcefulness and innovation. In ancient China, salt played a crucial role in the development of civilization. By 6000 BCE, the Chinese had already discovered methods of harvesting salt from brine pools, a practice that would evolve over centuries into sophisticated salt production techniques. However, the story of the word salt, as we know it today, begins with the Proto-Indo-Europeans, a prehistoric group who lived around 4500 to 2500 BCE in the Pontic-Caspian steppe, spanning parts of modern-day Ukraine, Russia, and Kazakhstan. The Proto-Indo-Europeans are credited with the root word sal, meaning salt, which would go on to influence countless languages across Europe and Asia. As they migrated and dispersed, they carried their language and knowledge of salt, laying the linguistic and cultural groundwork for the essential role salt would play in the civilizations that followed. In Sumeria, one of the earliest civilizations, salt was central to trade, agriculture, and spiritual life. The Sumerians harvested it from the marshy areas of the Tigris and Euphrates rivers, where evaporated pools left behind abundant salt deposits. It was more than a practical necessity. It held a symbolic place in their culture, used in religious offerings to their gods, and in rituals meant to purify and protect. The control of salt production and trade contributed to the wealth and power of Sumerian city-states, underscoring its pivotal role in their rise as one of the world's earliest advanced civilizations. In the ancient Americas, salt was a vital resource that shaped cultures and economies long before European contact. Civilizations like the Maya and Aztec regarded salt as both a necessity and a sacred substance. They extracted it from salt flats, brine springs, and coastal areas, using it to preserve food and enhance flavor in their diets. For the Maya, salt production was concentrated in coastal areas like the Yucatan Peninsula, while the Aztec Empire centralized its control over salt production and distribution, ensuring its availability across their vast territories. Beyond its practical uses, salt held ceremonial importance, symbolizing purity and being used in religious rituals to honor the gods. Moving to Egypt, salt took on new significance, becoming an integral part of their daily life, economy, and spirituality. The Egyptians used salt extensively in the mummification process, a cornerstone of their burial practices that preserved bodies for the afterlife, symbolizing purity and eternal life. Salt was also essential for preserving food, especially fish and meats, enabling surplus storage that supported large populations and long-distance trade. Harvested from the Nile Delta's salt flats, this prized resource fueled a robust trade network across the Mediterranean, connecting Egypt to ancient Greece, the Levant, and beyond. Its role in Egyptian society went beyond the practical. It was seen as a gift from the gods, often used in rituals and offerings, solidifying its revered status in one of history's greatest civilizations. In ancient Greece, salt was considered a precious resource, deeply embedded in both daily life and cultural practices. The Greeks harvested salt from the sea, using techniques that involved evaporating seawater in shallow basins. It became a vital component of their diet, preserving fish and other foods that were staples of Greek cuisine. Salt was also a key element in trade, exchanged for goods across the Mediterranean, and was sometimes used as a form of currency in smaller transactions. Beyond its practical uses, salt held symbolic importance in Greek religion and mythology. It was often associated with the god Poseidon, representing the sea's life-sustaining power. Salt was also used in sacrificial rituals to purify offerings to the gods, emphasizing its sacred status. These practices highlight how salt was woven into the social, economic, and spiritual fabric of ancient Greece. The Romans revolutionized salt's role in the economy, turning it into one of the most strategically significant resources of the ancient world. They constructed extensive saltworks along the coasts, such as those at Ostia and in other key locations, ensuring a consistent and efficient supply. Their sophisticated network of roads, famously known as the Roman roads, not only facilitated the movement of armies and goods, but also the transport of salt across their vast empire. Salt was so valuable that Roman soldiers were often paid with it, a practice that gave rise to the term salarium, the root of the word salary. Beyond its economic significance, salt played a role in Roman religious ceremonies and was used to bless sacrifices and treaties, symbolizing purity and sanctity. The Roman approach to salt management and trade set the foundation for many systems of resource distribution that followed. In Africa, salt was a cornerstone of trade across the Sahara Desert, forming the lifeblood of trans-Saharan commerce. Caravans of camels, often called the fleets of the desert, transported enormous slabs of salt from mines like those in Tagaza and Taubeni across hundreds of miles. This salt was traded for gold in equal weight, highlighting its immense value in the region. In West Africa, it became more than just a commodity. It was a currency that underpinned the wealth of powerful empires like Ghana, Mali, and later Songhai. Cities such as Timbuktu and Gao thrived as key trade hubs where salt, gold, and other goods exchanged hands. By the Middle Ages, salt's importance was firmly established as a cornerstone of economies and societies across Europe. Cities like Venice amassed immense wealth by monopolizing salt production and trade, leveraging their strategic position and access to saltworks in the Adriatic Sea. Venice's monopoly was so strict that it controlled not just production but even regional pricing, cementing its economic dominance. It was often referred to as white gold, emphasizing its value not only as a commodity, but as a crucial element in preserving food and sustaining armies during prolonged conflicts. The famous salt roads became vital trade arteries, transporting this precious resource from coastal saltworks to inland cities and towns, connecting regions and fostering cultural exchanges. These routes facilitated economic growth and helped establish trading hubs that laid the groundwork for Europe's Renaissance-era prosperity. Salt's significance continued into modern history, shaping economies, igniting revolutions, and remaining an indispensable resource. One of the most iconic moments in salt's modern journey was Gandhi's Salt March in 1930, a 240-mile walk to the Arabian Sea as a peaceful act of defiance against British colonial salt taxes. This march not only symbolized resistance, but also united millions in a movement for Indian independence. Similarly, salt played a key role in other revolutions, its scarcity or control often sparking uprisings and protests. Beyond politics, salt became essential in industrial advancements, with an estimated 14,000 known uses in the modern era. Once a currency and sacred substance, it now powers industries, preserving its status as essential to human progress. It plays a critical role in manufacturing chemicals such as chlorine and caustic soda, which are foundational to producing plastics, paper, and textiles. It is vital for de-icing roads, a practice that saves countless lives during harsh winters by preventing accidents. In medicine, salt solutions are indispensable for rehydration therapies and as saline in surgical procedures. It is also used in food processing, not just for flavoring, but for preserving meats, canning vegetables, and even enhancing the texture of baked goods. Beyond these, salt contributes to industries as varied as leather tanning, glassmaking, water purification, and renewable energy production. This simple compound continues to be a cornerstone of innovation and progress. proving that its importance has only grown over the centuries. Salt's journey through history is a story of survival, innovation, and cultural exchange. It shaped economies, connected civilizations, and left an indelible mark on humanity. Salt isn't just practical, it also held profound spiritual significance, serving as a symbol of purity, protection, and connection to the divine in cultures across the globe. Ancient civilizations regarded salt as a sacred substance, woven into their rituals and beliefs. In Babylon, salt was used to purify temples, symbolizing its power to cleanse spaces and ward off evil. Similarly, in ancient Egypt, salt played a dual role as both a practical preservative and a spiritual tool. It was sprinkled in sacred spaces and tombs to protect against malevolent forces, embodying purity and eternal life. In ancient Greece, salt was intertwined with mythology and religion. Associated with Poseidon, the god of the sea, salt symbolized the life-sustaining power of the ocean. Greek sacrificial rituals often included salt to purify offerings, emphasizing its sacred status. These traditions highlight how salt was seen not only as a practical necessity, but also as a divine gift. In ancient spiritual belief systems like Hermeticism and Kabbalah, it was more than a mineral. It was a profound symbol of the material world's connection to the divine. In Hermetic teachings, salt represented the body in the triad of salt, sulfur, and mercury, symbolizing the physical manifestation of spirit and mind. It was seen as a grounding force, necessary for balance in the alchemical transformation of the soul. Ritual practices would include the sprinkling of salt to sanctify spaces or protect against negative energies, highlighting its role as a medium between the earthly and the spiritual. These traditions reflect how salt was revered not only for its physical properties but for its deep metaphysical significance in understanding the universe and our place within it. In Jewish tradition, salt is a key component in religious ceremonies, symbolizing the eternal covenant between God and humanity. This covenant, established in ancient times, reflects the enduring and unbreakable bond between the divine and the people of Israel. Salt is prominently featured in offerings and sacrifices described in the Torah, where it served both as a purifying agent and a symbol of loyalty and preservation. In Christianity, salt holds profound symbolic significance, appearing frequently in both scripture and religious traditions. In the Bible, Jesus refers to his followers as the salt of the earth, emphasizing their role in preserving goodness and spreading divine teachings. Salt was also part of ancient Jewish and early Christian rituals, used to purify offerings and as a covenant symbol of loyalty and eternal promise. In Catholic traditions, salt is blessed and used in holy water to purify spaces and ward off evil spirits. This sacred element continues to be a powerful metaphor for spiritual integrity, resilience, and the enduring connection between the divine and the material world. In Buddhism, salt holds symbolic and practical significance, particularly in rituals and traditions across various cultures. Salt is often used in ceremonies to ward off evil spirits and cleanse spaces of negative energy. In Japan, for instance, small piles of salt, called morigyo, are placed at the entrance of establishments to invite good fortune and repel harm. In Hinduism and Tamil traditions, salt carries deep symbolic and ritual significance, often associated with purification, prosperity, and protection. Salt is a key element in Hindu rituals, such as sprinkling it during housewarming ceremonies or adding it to water used in pujas to cleanse and sanctify spaces. In Tamil culture, salt is considered an auspicious substance, frequently used in marriage ceremonies and other life events to symbolize the start of a prosperous journey. Additionally, salt offerings are made in temples to deities as a gesture of gratitude and devotion, reflecting its role as a bridge between the earthly and divine realms. These traditions underscore salt's enduring cultural importance, linking its physical utility with spiritual practices across centuries. In the Muslim faith, salt holds a quiet yet profound significance, deeply rooted in cultural and spiritual practices. It is often regarded as a purifier and a symbol of blessings and gratitude. In Islamic tradition, it is common to start and end meals with a pinch of salt, a practice believed to cleanse the body and ward off illness. In Shinto, salt is considered a powerful purifier and is used in rituals to cleanse spaces and ward off negative energies. It is commonly scattered at the entrances of homes and businesses, or used in sumo wrestling ceremonies to sanctify the ring. Across these diverse traditions, salt emerges as a universal symbol of purity, protection, and spiritual connection. Salt has not only shaped civilizations and rituals, but also left an indelible mark on language. Here are 10 expressions that highlight its enduring influence. Worth one's salt. reflects someone's competence or value, originating from Roman soldiers being paid with salt. Salt of the earth describes a humble and good-natured person, drawn from biblical teachings. Take it with a grain of salt suggests skepticism or cautious acceptance, a phrase dating back to ancient Rome. Not worth his salt implies someone lacks value or effectiveness, linked to salt's historic role as currency. Salt in the wound, to worsen an already bad situation, inspired by the painful sting of salt on injuries. Salting the earth refers to ruining something completely, based on a historical tactic to prevent agricultural use. Above the salt refers to someone of high status or importance, originating from medieval banquets where salt was placed near honored guests. Eating salt together, a metaphor for enduring hardships and forming deep bonds. More salt than fish describes excessiveness or overdoing something. Salting away means saving resources or money, inspired by salt's preservative qualities. Can you think of other expressions using salt? If so, please write it in the comments. These expressions showcase salt's linguistic and cultural significance, illustrating its universal role in shaping language and metaphor. The Latin root sal, salt, has left a profound linguistic legacy, influencing words that span culinary, scientific, and metaphorical domains. Below, we explore the fascinating ways salt has shaped the English language, grouped by themes for clarity. Sauce, from the Latin salsa meaning salted, reflecting its origins as a method of preserving or flavoring food. Sausage, derived from the Latin salsiccia, meaning something salted, referring to meats preserved with salt. Salami, from the Italian salama, which comes from the Latin salare, to salt, highlighting its preservation method. Salad, originates from the Latin salata, salted, as early salads were dressed with brine or salted oil. Salsa, directly from the Spanish word for sauce, tracing back to Latin salsa. Saline, derived from salinus, meaning pertaining to salt, used to describe salt solutions. Salinity indicates the concentration of salt in water, rooted in the Latin salinitas. Desalination combines the prefix de, removal, with sal to mean the process of removing salt from water. Salary, from the Latin salarium, originally referring to the payment Roman soldiers received to buy salt, symbolizing value and compensation. Salvation, although not directly related to salt, it derives from salvare, to save. Salt's symbolic role in purification and preservation may metaphorically align with the concept of being saved. Salvage, derived from salvare, to save, it once referred to recovering goods from saltwater, metaphorically connecting to the sea. Salute, from Latin salutare, to greet, rooted in salus, health or well-being. While not directly about salt, it reflects preservation of good relations and well-being. These words illustrate how salt's profound importance in ancient cultures shaped not only economies and rituals, but also the evolution of language. From the practical and culinary to the metaphorical and symbolic, salt's legacy continues to permeate our everyday speech, leaving an indelible mark on the English language. So the next time you sprinkle salt on your fries, remember you're holding a piece of history, a word and a substance that shaped civilizations, economies, and language. Salt's humble grains carry the weight of empires, the wisdom of rituals, and the flavor of life itself. What other everyday words have fascinating histories? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this dive into the story of salt, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Stay tuned as we uncover more incredible stories behind the words we use every day.